Today I plan to make some people mad. I know that somebody out there is going to get their feelings hurt today, but you know what? Listen, I'm trying to help you. I don't want you to accidentally buy in an area that you think is 15 minutes or a half hour away from an area you know, like Sarasota or like Naples, and you think that because it's a half hour outside of the area that you know and love, that it's the same as the area that you know and love. You know, I'm going to use Boston for an example. You have Boston, which we all know is beautiful. It's wonderful. There's tons to do. It is a great destination. If you get a half hour outside of Boston, there could be some areas that are not exactly like Boston. And that example that I just gave can be almost anywhere in the country. So what has commonly happened and what I hear all the time, because I do consultations with people all week long to help them get to know the area. You know, you spend $99, you do a consultation with me, and it saves you thousands in making a mistake. So I do this all day long to help people. One of the ones that I hear all the time is, well, this is only a half hour outside of X city, so it must be pretty nice. It's pretty nice, right? Those are good prices. Let me tell you, it is not always pretty nice, and many times it is just absolutely boring. Boring. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, nothing fun and exciting, nothing like Naples, nothing like Sarasota, nothing like these areas that you might be familiar with. So today we're going to be talking about towns or cities that are located pretty close to a bigger town or city that you might know and love and vacation in, but it's boring. And I don't want to see you waste your vacation dollars. I definitely don't want to see you think it's an area that would be great to live in and it isn't. I don't want to see you waste your money. So today we're going to be talking about several towns and cities that are close to others that are pretty fun and exciting, but these are not. All right, now listen, before we jump into this, I want to apologize ahead of time. If you live in some of these communities that I'm going to be mentioning, you may not agree with me. And if you don't, feel free to put it down in comments. We will all read it and we'll all see it. So if you think that there is something great about the area that you live in that we are all missing, feel free to tell us down in comments. We want to read it. So let me start with the first one that I hear all the time. People that are reaching out to me and they're familiar with Fort Myers Beach, or even Naples. Many times I get this comment, and that is, I think I want to move to Lehigh Acres. Now, Lehigh Acres is going to be from Fort Myers. It's about a half hour or so. It is boring. There is absolutely nothing to do in Lehigh, in my opinion. You know, do you have a Dollar General? Do you have a Lowe's? Do you have those kind of things? Yes. I'm assuming that that is not the reason that you're coming to Florida. So in terms of anything that's resorty, it's just not there. There is definitely not a beach there. You know what is there? There's some crime there, and you know, these are things, what I'm saying is factual, it's public knowledge, it's public data. This is not my opinion, this is public data. You can go to any website and look things up like crime reports, and you should, to make sure for yourself that you're comfortable living in, vacationing in specific areas. The crime in Lehigh is higher than most of Southwest Florida. It's just kind of dry and barren and flat and nothing to do there. There's not anything that feels resorty whatsoever. So what ends up happening is, because of those reasons, it's more affordable. So during the COVID years, a lot of people said, well, I vacation at Fort Myers Beach all the time. It's not that far. It's about an hour's drive. I would love to live in Lehigh Acres because I can get a 3-bedroom, 2-bath pool home for $300,000. Not anymore because prices have kind of gone up, but it is one of the last areas that's a little bit more affordable. But that is because it doesn't offer a lot. That is an area that I would not suggest you waste your time vacationing in. Northport, Florida. Where is Northport? I'm going to pop up a map right here. So as you can see, it is not on water, but it's close to water. It's pretty close to some beaches that you can pick up within a half hour or so. But Northport, for the most part, other than this little section called Welland Park, where there's this little downtown area, which is very cute. There's a small park there. They've got food trucks, and they usually have events going on there. Cool Today Park is there. You know, there's a little small, very small downtown area. But outside of that, you know, really all you're going to be doing is eating at Taco Bell, shopping at Ross Dress for Less, picking up a pair of shorts or something at Kohl's. That's all you're going to be doing in Northport. Now, some of you might say, well, hold on, I've experienced some good fishing in Northport, and maybe you have, maybe you did. There are little places, you know, that you can drop a pole in the water. There's some sort of like mineral springs type areas you can visit. I think they have one or two of those, but really otherwise, as a whole, if you're going to this area and this area alone, like Lehigh Acres and all of the places that I'm going to be talking about in this video, if you're going there to vacation or to move, there really isn't anything there that feels resorty, unless you think going to Kohl's and going to Home Depot is resorty. That really is all there is to do. Port Charlotte. In my opinion, Port Charlotte tries hard. It doesn't want to be boring. It doesn't. But in the end, Port Charlotte has Port Charlotte Harbor. But beyond that, not much. There's a pool. They have a pool. But beyond that, again, we're back to Ross Dress for Less, Kohl's, Hobby Lobby. There's just nothing to do that you couldn't do in your home state. Port Charlotte does not have a beach like a Gulf of Mexico beach. You know, again, they do have the park. They have Port Charlotte Harbor, but really outside of that, again, nothing to do. Now, some people, if you're a boater, you might have a spot here and there where you might enjoy boating through there. If you lived in Port Charlotte, you might enjoy that a bit more, because if you're a boater, you might like that. But there's not a lot of like public golf courses out there that would really excite someone. There's no water park. There's just really nothing to do. All right, let's do one more and a bonus. Golden Gate City. Golden Gate City is pretty close to downtown Naples, about a half hour. So a lot of times people see the prices in there and they think, well, that may work for me. There's a couple things with Golden Gate City. First of all, there is nothing to do. This seems to be the common theme. It is boring. There is nothing to do there. There are some crime issues above the curve in Golden Gate City. Check that out for yourself. There's no beach, there's no water park, there's no sort of water inlets where you would want to hang out, go boating, things like that. There's absolutely nothing to do there. Now, the predominance of language in Golden Gate City is mostly Spanish, so that's another problem. If you don't speak fluent Spanish, you may feel like you're having trouble sort of navigating the area. Golden Gate City is not to be confused with Golden Gate Estates, which is our bonus, which is also boring. Now, some of you are going to not agree with me on that. You're going to say,
I live in Golden Gate Estates and I love it.
But is there anything for someone to do there? If you want to sit at home and you enjoy your land, because Golden Gate Estates is the rural part of Naples. So it's close to downtown Naples, relatively close, within a half hour, but Their claim to fame is that there's no HOAs, you get a big plot of land, but I'm going to tell you something. I'll show you here on a map. The big plot of land that you get, we always say you want to look for the square, not the Band-Aid lot. The Band-Aid lot, it's such a bizarre phenomena out there. If you're moving to Golden Gate Estates, you probably want to be out in the middle of nowhere. You want it to be quiet. You want to have animals. You want to have peacocks and pigs and horses, which you're allowed to do all that in Golden Gate Estates. You want to be able to shoot your gun. You want to be able to do whatever you want to do, and you don't want anybody to tell you you can't do it. Here's the problem. If you buy one of those Band-Aid lots, somebody can put a house literally right next to yours, so you feel like you have 2 acres, but it's a long rectangle, and the house sits right, and a neighboring house could sit literally right out your bedroom window, and does. So I always tell my Golden Gate buyers, Golden Gate Estates buyers, make sure you have a square lot, because in that case, you're far less likely for that to happen. But that happened. People built houses up and down these Band-Aid lots, and they sit stacked one right on top of the other. Yes, you have a couple acres, but you're still stacked up on top of each other. There is nothing to do there other than really, again, little grocery stores, a Publix here and there, but nothing else. If you drive into Naples, then you can do everything that's within Naples. But in Golden Gate Estates, that is a rural country area, and you're about, depending on where you are in Golden Gate Estates, you're about 45 minutes from the beach, so you're pretty much just out in rural no man's land. You might want to move to Boring. Boring might sound like exactly what you've been looking for in life. Again, that's why I always say get with a good agent, consult with a good agent, make sure you are on the right path for what you like, because on this channel, it is never up to me to tell you what lives in your world. It is up to you to tell me what you like, and then we find it for you.